Tour Junkies.
What's going on, golf addicts? Welcome to the Tour Junkies podcast for the WGC Dell Match play. It's the betting show. I'm DB. I got Pat Perry. We're ready to break it down. I'm actually looking forward to this. I think this may be one of the first years I'm actually looking forward to this event. We've got some big names playing. We're going to get right into the betting strategy here for this because, Pat, you can't just like grab an outright here. You can't just do that. Now we've had some luck here at the WGC. We hit Kisner a couple years ago. Sheffler lost to Billy Ho in a snoozer last year.
Had him.
Total snoozer. And you had that one. But Kiz in 2019, we're at Austin Country Club, the site of the Dell Match play since 2016. The biggest thing that a lot of people are going to overlook this week in terms of getting right into the strategy of things is you have to look at the bracket as a whole, and you've got to look at the segments of the bracket that your players are coming out of and think through, like, who has the easiest path to get to maybe the Sweet 16 or the Elite. I'm calling it Sweet 16 because we're in March Madness. I just cannot call it that. So I don't think that they just call it round 4, which is lame. So, it's like,
I mean, give it a name. Jeez.
Give it a name. Who has the best chance to get to round 4, or maybe the Elite 8 or round 5, as they call it, or the quarterfinals, right? Who has the easiest path to victory there? And be careful not to put too many guys on your card that are coming out of the same side of the bracket. We'll talk through that here in a little bit more. As always, presented to you by our friends at covers.com. It's the place for people to go if you love sports and you love to win. Your betting process should start at covers.com. They've been doing it over 25 years, people. They serve over 20 million sports bettors annually. And like most of the content on the website is free. Free articles, free videos, free podcasts, free forums you can get into with about 500,000 other members. All kind of free stuff for every sport you can possibly think of. Baseball, college basketball, the NBA, NHL, golf, obviously. In fact, it's where our exclusive golf betting content that we write every week. We write matchups, usually top 20s or prop bets that we like, and that's the only place you can find it for free on covers.com. This week will be a little weird with the match play. I haven't quite figured out how we're going to do that, but we'll figure it out. But thanks to covers.com for hooking us up, and be sure you check them out. All right, Pat. It's going to be an interesting week here. We've got, so this is what we're going to do. The Corrales event. People may be wondering about Corrales. We are not going to cover Corrales tonight on either podcast. The DraftKings contests are much smaller and way lamer for the Corrales event. And there's way less options on the betting side of things than you would like to see right now on a Monday night. But we are going to cover it. We're going to cover it in the Nut Hut. So Pat and I, we do have a couple of good caddy friends. We got a number of caddy friends on the ground. We got a number of players on the ground there. We've already heard a couple things from some caddies there at Corrales. Our good buddy Gino Bonelli is on the bag for the defending champion, Joel Damon. That's exciting. But we're going to cover Corrales in the Nut Hut. So a great incentive for you to get in the Nut Hut because it is going to be a great event to bet on for sure. I wish the DraftKings contests were larger, but from a betting perspective, I'm looking forward to betting the Corrales just like I would any other week. There's a lot of this long shot season, baby. This is where we hit Hudson Swafford at like 150 or 200 to 1. I'm pumped about it, man. What you drinking tonight, Pat? What's the beverage of choice? What's the podcast use?
I got a little Blue Moon tonight. I haven't had a Blue Moon in a while, and I felt like we had the start of spring this week, and it just felt like a good beer for this evening. You know what I just noticed, DB?
What's that?
So we're doing this on a different format tonight because producer Sam isn't with us.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I haven't been able to see the chat stream in a while, but now I get to see it tonight. I can see it again.
Here we go.
So we'll see what happens there. I'm sure now that I said that, there's going to be people that come in here and try to trigger me. But anyway, I am looking forward to this week. I think it's going to be a fun week, with the 2 tournaments. Match play is crazy. It literally is always almost like, well, I will say this. When you look at like the actual basketball tournament, a lot of the chalk tends to get in the Final Four. Whereas that doesn't really happen here, but but like the tournament, you have a lot of craziness that happens, especially early on.
Yeah,
so it'll be fun to see what happens.
Yeah, gotta embrace the variance here. And yeah, shout out producer Sam. We are without producer Sam tonight for the first time in a while. He's been a dedicated producer here for us. He's coming back. He's having garden hoe issues. If you were listening last
Oh
week's
yeah.
episode, you would get that. He's having some garden hoe issues with an Airbnb property of his, But we understand producer Sam. We miss you. But so we're back doing things like this. So if there's no technical difficulties tonight, then we may just fire producer Sam altogether. I don't know. It's just an idea.
Yeah.
So Pat, you mentioned, the variance. So last year, one player out of the top 16, the top 16 seeds made it to the next round, and that was John Rahm. That was it. Every other one busted out of group play. This is a round robin format. Everybody knows that. It's 64 players, round robin. Everybody's gonna play each player in their group. Starts on Wednesday. That's key. So it starts on Wednesday. You're going to play three. Everybody's guaranteed 3 matches to play the other 3 guys in their group. And then it's going to be the best record from there. And there are sudden death playoffs if there's ties involved, which is interesting. That can be a lot of fun. I think, was it last year Sergio won on a walk-off ace?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
That was sick. That was
Yeah.
really sick. So, and then so from the Sweet 16 down to 8, down to 4 on the final round. And it definitely gets a little more boring on the weekend when like all the group plays over and some of the big names have been knocked out and blah, blah, blah. But I can already see Pat distracted in the chat. He's already staring off into the oblivion here.
No, I'm good. I was pulling up something a vital thing that I should have had pulled up. I did not have pulled up. Do you want to know what it is?
Oh, sure. Yeah. What is that?
It was the bracket.
Could be beneficial.
Yeah.
But I will say this though, like last year we had all that variance, right? But in years past, there have been plenty of number 1 seeds that go through easily, right? It's not been like last year all the other years. So I think, I mean, obviously, like it's not a bold prediction to say, I think more than one of the top 16 seeds is going to make it through, right? That's not a bold prediction, but I do think when I went through and just my initial look at all 16 groups, just for now, I have 7 favorites circled that I see going to the next level.
I feel like I'm in a similar boat to you. As a matter of fact, I have 2 groups left open right now because I almost wanted to just talk through them with you to see if I could figure out where I landed at the end of it.
Well, we're gonna do that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I have several favorites in here, but there are definitely some tough groups to figure out.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through every group. Me and Pat, and we thought we'd do something different this year. We're gonna go through every group, and we are going to make ourselves land on one favorite that we can agree on out of the group from a betting standpoint. So we're going to do group bets first, and then when we finish the 16 groups, then we're going to come back and look at our outright bets to win. And you got to think through that. Like I said in the beginning, you got to think through the outrights, thinking through their path to victory, how that would look, who they'd have to go through, what part of the bracket they'd have to take down, and try to think through who may have the easiest route, plus the value that you have. And there's a few groups in here that are complete stayaways for me because they're just buzzsaw of a group. Like all 4 players are absolutely studs.
Yeah.
And it's hard to figure out. So we're going to get through that. Before we do that, though, I do want people to comment. We got Masters coming up. Masters will be here before we know it. It's going to be huge. We're going to have a great week, Pat, in Augusta. I need to know quickly, what early Masters content do you want? And this is probably going to be a full-time DB situation because I've got this time on my hands. But I want to know, what early Masters content do you want? I did go out and put out a YouTube video a couple days ago with some early leans and Masters kind of outright bets that I think I could see getting shorter or I would like to jump on at the moment. I put that out there. But what else do you want to see? Is it DraftKings related? Is it betting related? Is it just Augusta in general stuff? Like, put that in the comments. Tell me what you want. And speaking of comments, Pat, last week we asked people to put in the comments their Instagram and Twitter handles for a Masters 2020 t-shirt that we have. Brand new to give those out. We have 5 t-shirts, and I'm just going to give them out to five winners from last week. So if you hear your Instagram or Twitter handle, you need to email us info@tourjunkies.com. Email us that you won, your shipping address, and your t-shirt size, and we'll do the best we can to make sure. We only have larges and XL, so we told you that last week. So
yeah. So if you happen to win and you get a different size, don't come back at me and say, "Hey, you sent me the wrong size." It's very random. Like if you get just be first. I'll say that to send me a message, because if you win, I'll send you something, but it's going to be the wrong size. You can give it to somebody. Somebody will appreciate that gift.
Or if you're a large and you get an XL, grow into that bad boy. Have a few extra blue moons or something. I don't know. All right, here's the handles. I guess this is Jefe de Bomb, Jefe de Bomb, or Jefe. At Wahlberg Justin. I know Justin Wahlberg. He's a good dude. He follows us all the time, comments on a lot of stuff. Very engaged follower. At FW Stacks. At John Coman 3, also another very engaged follower. Appreciate it. And another very engaged follower.
I think John Coman's a dog fan. I could be wrong, but I think he's
I think he's also in the Nut Hut, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's a Nut Hut, and I know this guy's a Nut Hut member. Trip GHA Trip Guy. You guys, you 5 have won a Masters t-shirt. So
yeah. Wes, I don't have any Schmediums. I see you in the chat there.
No Schmediums.
I kind of miss Wes a little bit.
Oh, Wes.
It's been a while, Wes. It's good to see you're still here with us.
We also have DP World Tour and Korn Ferry Tour podcast going on this week. Hopefully Mark Hill's gained his voice back and he can actually talk. And hopefully G Money Garrett can figure out how to get a podcast out before, 6 hours before the event starts. That'd be cool, huh? Very cool. All right, let's get into this, Pat. I want to get into. Here's how we're gonna do this. Let's see. Now I have to run things again. I'm not used to having to run things again. Here we go. We're gonna bring up the groups, and these groups we're looking at are important because the winners of these groups are gonna play each other in the Sweet 16 in the quarterfinals, and then the winner of that matchup is obviously gonna get to the stage 5 or whatever. No, wait a minute. God damn, I hate the way they say these. They do these things. What are they calling it? Round 4 or something? Okay, round 4, and then the winner of that's going to get to the quarterfinals. But this is key because you got to think through this. Like, you don't need to have 3 guys or 4 guys from these groups on your betting card outright, because you're kind of shooting yourself. Like, only one guy is going to come out of here on this side and make it to the Final Four or the final match. So you got to think through those things. But what we're going to do here is just look at some betting odds and talk through the names here. The first group 1, is Jon Rahm, Sebastian Munoz, Patrick Reed, and Cam Young, Pat. And I want to go ahead and start by saying Jon Rahm, obviously the favorite here. He's plus 150. Patrick Reed is plus 300. Cameron Young is plus 320 on FanDuel, plus 275 on DraftKings. And Sebastian Munoz is plus 300 here. So, where's your early lean here, Patrick? Where are we going to go? Are we going to agree on a name here, I wonder?
Well, as hard as it is for me to sit here and defend, well, it's easy to defend Jon Rahm. He's the number 1 player in the world. But and I know he did not play well at the Players. I was all in on him at the Players. But of this group, I have a hard time going away from Jon Rahm. I mean, Patrick Reed has not been playing well. Cameron Young has. Sebastian Munoz has been playing decent. So there's a chance that you could get one of those guys to come out of here. But I think Jon Rahm is sort of I think he's about to hit a little bit of a stride here going into the Masters and into major season. I like Jon Rahm here. I'm not gonna. I feel like you're getting cute if you don't take Rahm in this bracket. So, or in this group.
Yeah. I mean, how about Patrick Reed finishing 26th and Jon Rahm finishing 55th at the Players?
Yeah. I mean, I hear you. Patrick Reed needs to show a lot for the right. Here's another angle that people probably will talk about this week too. Is there's a lot of guys that want to show they're good in match play for the Ryder Cup. So. I think that's an interesting take. There's also a lot of guys, not a lot. There's a couple guys in here that really need to play well if they want to get into the Masters. So that's another narrative that we could go with. I'm still throwing all that out. I'm going with Rahm in this group, but we have to agree on this, I guess. So if you don't agree, then
just... yeah. I mean, it's hard to disagree with John Rahm, right? But I do think this is a challenging group. I think this group doesn't seem as tough as it is once you kind of dig into it. When you realize Reed's been playing a little better, when you look at their match play records here at Austin, both John Rahm and Patrick Reed have a winning record. John Rahm's record here is 10-5-3. Reed's is 8-6-3. Obviously, Cameron Young's a first timer here, and in Munoz's first attempt, he went 0-3-0. And listen, like the thing is, Wes is in here saying, I think Munoz or Cam Young.
Anybody can beat anybody. Anybody can beat anybody.
We've seen it at this event. Like, this is a match play event. These are some of the best. These are the best players in the world for a reason. It could happen for sure. You could say that about anyone, but I do think this is one of those groups where I'm not fully sold on Rahm. I could see Reed being interesting now that he's rounding into form a little bit, wanting to prove himself for the Ryder Cup, as you mentioned, and kind of get back into that Patrick Reed killer that we all know, we all knew in match play formats. And I also think Cameron Young is interesting, just as good as that kid is playing. And what does he have to lose? You know what I mean? Like, if you're Cam Young playing John Rahm, all the pressure in the world is on John Rahm to come out of the group. Now, he may not put any of that pressure on himself. He's John Rahm, but Cam Young's not going to have any pressure. He's just going to go out and fire, like just fire away. So, I mean, if you just are 100% on John Rahm, I will agree with you here, and we can move on. But I do think Reed and Young are going to make it interesting. Munoz is the one to me that I'm out.
Yeah, I just still think Rahm is going to be the play here for me.
I was hoping I had a pin. Yep. Okay, I get it. All right, so we're gonna go Rahm here. I just want to keep up with the TJ agreement plays here. All right, let's go back to this group is going to play Group 16. So you got Brooks Koepka, EVR, Shane Lowry, and Harold Varner the third. Koepka, his Ryder Cup, his match play record here at Austin, 6-5-1. Shane Lowry, 2-7-3 here. HV3 is his first time, and EVR has gone 2-2-2. Koepka and Lowry are plus 220 in the sports books. HV3 is plus 300, and EVR is plus 275 to come out of this group. So a little tighter here at the top with, I guess you could say, Brooks's recent form versus, and he's right there with Lowry around plus 220 when I last took a look at it. So I think out of here, I think HV3 could do something, but I truly think this is all coming down to Koepka and Lowry. When you look at the two strongest players here, it's definitely those two, and they're definitely playing the best at the moment. And we just saw Koepka, finally have a good finish at the Valspar, played really well on the weekend, I believe. And Lowry, continues to play well. Played really strong in that Florida swing, and that's hard to do. That was some tough stuff there at the Florida swing. He could have won easily a few weeks ago. But to me, I actually think I'm going Koepka here. I think I lean Koepka. I think the killer mentality in match play, just the swagger. You had Shane and his, Karen self at the Ryder Cup I think Koepka just shuts that down. Like, I think Koepka just probably just totally out alphas everybody in this group. I'm feeling it. Like, I like what I saw out of Koepka at the Valspar. We know he likes to peak for majors, right? And so he's gearing up for Augusta, I'm sure. I think it's tough to pull, to pull the trigger on these guys against Koepka at the moment. But Lowry's enticing.
Yeah, I leaned immediately towards Lowry until then you start looking at the schedule a little bit on how these guys play each other. So in every group, the top two don't play each other until the third matchup. And so I looked at that a little bit when I was trying to kind of figure out some of the guys that I wanted to take, because I think you could see guys get out to a hot start, and then, who knows if the other, if the number 2 seed basically in the group has a little bit tougher matchups to start, Brooks could maybe be 2-0 by the time he gets to even playing Shane Lowry. Look at Brooks. He plays Eric Van Rooyen in the first round. I think he should win that, but, EVR could be sneaky. Then he gets HV3, and then he gets Shane Lowry. Whereas I think Shane, playing HV3 in the first round or the first match could be a little bit interesting. So I really like Lowry, and I feel like despite his poor record here, this should be a pretty good course fit for him, and he's been playing really well recently. I'm with you here. I think we're going to get a pretty heavyweight round of 16 matchup with Rahm versus Koepka in that round of 16. So I'm going to agree with you there on Koepka.
All right.
So
taking some early favorites here. All right.
Yep.
Okay.
By the way, in the Nut Hut, we have a contest going this week for the match
We have
play.
a bracket challenge.
A bracket challenge. And if you go into that bracket challenge, it's got a working bracket here. So I'm using that as I speak, as I talk to actually.
Nice.
So I don't even have to write it down, DB. I can.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, yeah, good. You can do that, and then we can put it out there and say this was our cumulative bracket that we filled out that we actually agreed on. Awesome. All right, let's move on to the next group. You got group 2 playing 15, 2 headed up by Colin Morikawa. Then you got Robert McIntyre, Jason Kokrak, and Sergio Garcia. Morikawa 0-2-1 in his first appearance here last year. He is plus 200, your favorite. Kokrak is 1-2-0. He's plus 300. Garcia is 12-7-1. He's plus 240, and Robert McIntyre went 1-1-2. He is plus 275. To me, I think this may be a chalky bet out of this group, and it might be chalky in DFS. We'll get to it, but I think it's Sergio. I think it's Sergio.
Absolutely. There's 100% agreement with me.
And it's not that, again, Morikawa is a stud, but he's just not done. He's not showing much right now, and Garcia is a match play. There's a couple of guys in here who are match play studs, right? Ian Poulter's a match play stud. But I mean, Garcia is playing really well right now. He's playing extremely well. He's had success here, obviously. I like the value at plus 240. That is a group bet that I will probably be firing on for sure.
Garcia, like if I remember, really good at the Ryder Cup too. I know he had Rahm as a partner a lot, which helps.
Yeah.
But I still feel like he
didn't lose it for him. I mean,
he did not, and he played better at times. So.
Yeah. I mean, so like if you're talking about betting these groups, the last group with Koepka, I honestly would probably stay away from it. Like as hot as Lowry's been too, I think I'd stay away from group betting that one. I'm not going to bet every group. But I mean, we've got to pick one. I went with Brooks, but like this one is one I want to fire on at plus 240.
Yeah, I agree there. Plus 240 for Sergio. And I think it is probably going to be a little bit of a chalky play, maybe in the DFS world, but I don't care what chalk looks like for betting. So I will, I think Garcia is a good play here. We obviously both. Now, Bobby Mack could be interesting. He could be a little bit of a sneaky guy in here. But I think it's a little too risky for me. But if I'm talking about a guy I'm staying away from, it's Morikawa for sure. I just haven't seen anything with the putter lately. His irons actually have cooled off. I mean, he is not. He really just has seemed. I know at the Players it was a bad draw, so I can't really look at that. But even last week, the irons weren't. I mean, I played him in a Prize Picks play for over greens in regulation on Sunday at like 11. He had 8 greens.
Oof,
8.
That's crazy.
That is not very good for Morikawa, and he's one of the best ball strikers in the world.
I just don't like. Yeah, I definitely lean more towards guys that, and now this is ironic. This is very ironic saying that I lean this way, but that I'm picking Sergio. I want guys who are going to be confident with like rolling the rock a little bit, like, and they're going to drop putts on players and make putts when they need to have holes, or to go ahead and drop one down before their opponent is putting. It has to putt next, and like applying pressure, and I know there's also a lot of pressure applied when a guy just continuously pounds greens in regulation in front of you, and you just think the guy's never going to miss, which is probably why Sergio's done so well here, because he doesn't putt well, that's for sure. And I don't, there's not really a lot of great or credible strokes gain data for this event, because guys are playing different, some guys aren't even playing certain holes in their matches. And it's just a weird event to really look at from that point of view. So I don't know how well Sergio's putted at Austin Country Club, but I mean, I think he lives here. I think this is a home event for him.
Yeah, it is. He lives
So
in
there's
Austin
some
now.
familiarity with the greens, maybe is what it is. I don't know, but I just Morikawa scares me from that standpoint. Because I mean, like, yeah, it would be deflating to watch him hit greens in your face all day long, but after like 6 holes or 7 holes when he's not making a dang thing, I'm not worried about it at that point. Like the kid.
Yeah, no,
So I don't know.
I'm with you there.
Think
Okay.
about. All right, the next group here. So they're going to be playing the winner of Group 15. So that's Abe Answer, Bubba Watson. Why did I say Bub Watson?
Bub.
I think I
Oh,
was
Bub.
Webb. I was looking at Webb. Bubba Watson, Webb Simpson, and Brian Harmon. Oh, when Bubba and Webb have to play each other, since they're like best buddies, are they just gonna like give each other every putt and hug a lot?
Maybe they will.
Bubba will cry on every hole, that he beats Webb on.
I'm so sorry, Webb.
And then Answer and Brian, like a combined tail of the tape of like 10 feet tall, 10 feet 1 inch, both of them if one of them stood on each other's shoulders.
This is an interesting group for sure. Not only because of stature and friendships,
Yeah.
but really because of the way this group sets up. I mean, all of these guys have some deficiencies that besides height and other things.
Well, you got Abe Answer, who is the favorite at plus 230. He's 4-2-0 here. You got Bubba at plus 250. He's 10-6-5. And then Webb and Brian Harmon are both plus 300. Webb is 2-7-3 here, and Harmon is 5-3-1. My favorite out of this group is Brian Harmon. I like the way Brian Harmon is playing right now. I like the way he's played the last couple of weeks. And did you hear his interview yesterday when he walked off the course on Sunday?
I did not, but I'm sure he did.
He walked off the course and he just kind of said, like, yeah, because, I mean, I guess he had a chance Sunday. I mean, he got to like 15 under or something, but it wasn't going to happen for him. But when he walked off, he kind of said, like, I'm feeling really good. I like where my game's at. I'm pumped about the match play. I love that course. I love match play. And he basically said, I'm ready to kick butt and take names. Like, he's ready to go. And I think
Brian Harmon is the play here. As a matter of fact, it ends up where I have several Bulldogs that I do like this week.
Oh,
but Harmon, if you've known so Harmon grew up in Savannah. He's he won the U.S. Junior Amateur, I believe. If he didn't win it, he was in the finals because I remember watching on TV when I was younger. The guy I mean, anybody Cockbite's his damn nickname. I mean, I just feel like there's a factor to these guys with winning match play events or winning matches that is you can't even look at like all the stats, although he's going to check boxes anyway for this course.
Yeah.
He's been playing well recently, but he's just got that fight attitude to him that I really like. So I'm with you. I think Harmon wins this group. And you got guys like Webb, been off a lot lately, hasn't played a ton. Played okay last week, nothing great.
Well, also like Webb coming off of this injury layoff, okay, only had to play 2 rounds at the Players, but it was a long two rounds, okay. Then he does make the cut, but fizzles, I think, over the weekend at the Valspar. Now he's going to play this. Like, do you really want to bet on Webb playing 7 matches to get to the finals and win with that injury thing? I don't think you do.
No, I don't. Answer to me is just way too spotty right now for me to think. And I know you said he's got a good record here. So does Bubba. Bubba's played well here.
Yeah. This looks like an easier group to me to come out of.
And I like that plus 300 number on Harmon there to win the group. So.
I don't I'm glad you brought that up about the whole stats thing. Like, it's just I'm not even looking. I'm really not. I'm looking at match play record, form, group that they're in, little block in the bracket that they're in. Who do they have to beat to get to the next round kind of situation. Easiest path to victory. Long-term guys that we've known are good match play players and also good putters. I just it's silly to kind of get bogged down in the stats. It really is. It's proven time and time again. Match play is just a different beast. So Don't bog yourself down with all that. That's for sure. That's a good PSA that maybe we forgot to mention. Another PSA that we need to mention is for all you out there that y'all need some hair. One player in that group that doesn't need hair is Bubba. Bubba's got lots of hair all over his body.
He needs anti
He does not. Yeah, he does not need Nutrafol. But Nutrafol are our friends. They are. And when it comes to thinning hair, they can be your friend. You don't have to choose between natural remedies and other just things that work or whatever. There's a holistic solution for men that promotes healthier hair and whole body wellness without drugs or prescriptions. And it's beautiful, man. There's 5 root causes of thinning hair. Nutrafol is the hair supplement that goes beyond genetics to target stress, hormones, nutrition, metabolism, and environmental factors that may be impacting your hair. And is clinically proven to grow your hair, grow hair thickness, visible scalp coverage, all without compromise, with 21 potent natural ingredients that also support better sex drive, better sleep, and less stress. In a clinical study, men showed progressive improvement in hair growth and thickness after 3 and 6 months. Nutrafol is trusted and recommended by more than 1,500 top doctors, not bottom doctors, Pat, top doctors.
Top doctors.
You can grow thicker, healthier hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com and entering promo code Tour Junkies to save $15 off your first month subscription. This is their best offer anywhere, and it's only available to U.S. customers for a limited time. Plus free shipping on every order. Get $15 off at Nutrafol.com. That's Nutrafol.com. Promo code Tour Junkies to get that hair hitter, and get you something off to get you something on. That's what
growth.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that they're doing that, man. That's awesome. All right, let's keep rocking and rolling here. Next group, we've got groups 3 and 14. Group 3.
Okay. This is a good section right here.
This is a nice one. This group here is also, let's see, group 3. Yeah, I wrote it here. This is a stay away group for me. I'm not betting. I'm probably not betting on a group winner here between Viktor Hovland, Sepp Straka, Will Zalatoris, and Cameron Tringali. This is a killer's row here. It's kind of. Victor's 1-2-0 here. Zalatoris 1-1-1, and then Tringali and Sepp Straka are making their first appearance here. Victor's your favorite at plus 165, followed by Willie Z at plus 200, followed by Cam Tringali at plus 330, and Sepp Straka at plus 400. Now, I think Straka at plus 400 is an interesting value if I were going to bet it, just because I kind of see him like Cameron Young, like he's bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, not much to prove, like just got his first tour win. He's feeling footloose and fancy-free. He just wants to go out and fire at pins, make birdies, and stomp on somebody's throat if he's feeling if the form is there. But and it's not like there's holes in these guys ahead of him. Cameron Tringali, there's holes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Will Zalatoris, the hole is the putting situation. Like you got to surely these guys are going to make Will Zalatoris putt just about everything out. Like how short does the putt have to be for you to give it to Willie Z? Because dude has missed some short ones in the last. Well, we've seen him miss some short ones ever since he got on tour, but in the last couple of weeks, he's done it. And then Hovland the short game is killing him. Like the short game is killing him. The inconsistency around just how he can close a door is interesting. And I don't know does Hovland really have the killer match play personality of like a Kevin Kisner? Like, what makes Kisner so good at this? Do guys like Viktor Hovland and Colin Morikawa possess that? I think it remains to be seen. I'm not saying they don't, but it's definitely a question mark.
Yeah, I mean, Hovland played pretty well, I believe, in the Ryder Cup. But I think this like when Hovland and Willie Z play, which will be the last match, it could be very interesting. Like Hovland's gonna be sitting there like with that smile on his face, like the he has the perma smile on his face,
permagrin, yeah.
And Willie's gonna look up at him with like a 1.5 foot putt, and he's just gonna be like permagrinning. Yeah, you're gonna putt that. Yeah, you're gonna putt that. And then Willie Z's gonna have to putt it, and he's gonna miss it or something. And there might be some animosity there. Like I feel like this could be a fun group to watch. And I think it could be a group actually where we do get a guy like Sepp Straka to come out of it. I think with the way he's playing lately, it's extremely solid. I mean, he followed up the win, at the Honda Classic, playing pretty well after that. So I think that, Straka is a pretty good, I mean, now he did miss a cut at the Arnold Palmer, but top 10 at the Players, had a good side of the draw. But still, I think Straka's very sneaky here. He's plus 400 to win this group.
So do we go Straka?
I think we go Straka.
All right, I like it. All right. So we went Harman. Let's see. Yeah, we went Harman and Straka in that group. Nice. Okay. Oh no, sorry. This is group 3. Now we got to go 14. All right. So group 3, Straka's group is what we're going to call it, are playing group 14, and that would be Joaquin Niemann, Maverick McNeely, Kevin Na, and Russell Henley. And you've got Joaquin Niemann at 1-0-2 here as your favorites. Actually, this is interesting. He's your favorite on FanDuel and not your favorite on DraftKings. On FanDuel, he's plus 210. On DraftKings, he's plus 240. The other favorites would be Russell Henley, who is plus 220 on DraftKings and plus 250 on FanDuel. Russell Henley 2-3-1 here. Kevin Na at plus 280, 8-8-2, and Maverick McNeely gets in as the first alternate. This is his first time here. He's at plus 290. What are you doing with this group? This one's this one's like a little tough for me.
Well, first off, what's the deal with Kevin Na? He withdrew from the tournament. That was a baby, right? So he doesn't really have an injury or anything.
Well, he did have an injury earlier this year. Isn't that why?
Yeah.
Why he was in the?
I think he withdrew from the Players though because he had a baby that was born.
That may have been the Players, but I'm saying earlier in the year,
yeah,
after Sony, or was it at Sony? It was I think it was after Sony. It was some injury thing, but he's here.
Anyway, I think Henley's the guy. I'd said earlier, you're gonna maybe hear me mention a lot of dogs. I think Henley's the guy out of here. I mean, he's been playing well recently, so he's got the form.
It is the year of the dogs.
This is a good course fit for him. You look at. He's got a lot of match play experience outside of if we're just talking about like Ryder Cup. He played on 2 Walker Cup teams. He was 5-0 in match play at Georgia. And now I say that to say they don't normally play match play in college events. When they do play match play, it's when they get to the finals, okay? And then you're in a tough situation. Then you're in a pressure situation. I think a guy like Henley, with as solid as he hits his irons, he's a good putter in general. You mentioned that about putting, like not necessarily, looking at just the surface, but just guys that tend to be pretty good putters that can, drain some putts on you. Henley can do that. So for me, Henley is the guy in this group. I know Niemann's been playing well. Na, to me, is still somewhat of a question mark. McNeely got in last minute when Sam Burns withdrew. So I think Henley is kind of an easy choice for me, actually, here. He's at plus 220 to win this group.
250 on FanDuel.
Okay, I like that.
FanDuel. Yeah. Well, I'm going to go with it because I was debating between Henley and Niemann, and I was really having a hard time with it. So I'll take the easy hand, and let's go Russell Henley at plus 250 on FanDuel to come out of Group 14. I'm with you. I like it. Looks like we're getting a little bit of agreement in the chat too. Mark Horn likes Henley. A couple other folks liking Henley. All right. By the way, if you're watching, give us a thumbs up. Please like the video. Please subscribe if you haven't already done that, and drop a comment in here. Like I said, what is the early Masters content that you'd like to see coming from Tour Junkies before we get to Masters Week? Man, it's going to be a great week. All right, moving on. We've got match play Group 4 versus Group 13. Group 4. Led by Patrick Cantlay at 5-3-1 here at Austin Country Club. He's your favorite at plus 165. Then you got Sung Jae at plus 260. Seamus Powers making his first appearance here. He's at plus 330. Keith Mitchell, 1-2-0 here at Austin. He is plus 300. Well, I mean, I'll just go out on a limb and say, are you playing the dog, Keith Mitchell?
I don't have him in this group.
Oh. I do. I like.
I have Cantlay in this group. I think Cantlay is the stone cold killer on that is going to be doing some shit on the golf course that really pisses off the players he's going against. He's going to drain putts all over the place on them. I just think Cantlay has the mindset for.
I think Mitchell doesn't care though, dude. Mitchell doesn't give a rip. I just don't.
I agree. I think it's a battle. Like those two are like heavyweights to me in this section.
I mean, Sungjae is too. I mean, Sungjae.
I don't even have any.
I don't
feel any type of way towards M and
Hasn't he been
Power.
great in President's Cup?
I'm sure, but I don't. I think this is the Cantlay Mitchell show. This is 1 versus 4.
Sungjae 3-1-1 at the President's Cup. I mean, I think this is a tough group. I kind of think this is a murderer's row situation, and a possible stay away. But just the form and the confidence and the swagger and the value on Keith Mitchell at 3-1 is what is enticing to me. This is, and I agree with you, man. I agree with you. Cantlay is a killer. He is a killer, but also like I mean, let's not act like he's God's gift to putting either. Like he's not that great of a putter. You talk about him dropping putts. He's improved, yes, but he's not been incredible. And he did, he was on.
Cantlay's out there giving interviews last year talking about like these books that he reads on. What was it he was talking about? Like different, like was it betting? Was it cards? Which is like playing cards and like gin rummy.
Luke List told us about
it. It was like gin rummy and all this stuff. And like,
yeah.
Like if Cantlay did something else besides golf, and then all of a sudden he showed up and he had killed 10 people, and he was going to jail for that, obviously. I would not be surprised. It's like I'd be like, well, I'm not saying he's like a real killer, but I just feel like he's got that kind of like just.
Your boy Wes agrees. He agrees. What your best friend Wes Bearden in the chat. I'm with Pat. Cantlay a stone cold killer. Yeah. I just want to push back a little bit here though with Mitchell. I mean, are you that hard up on Cantlay, the favorite here? Do you think this is the group that a favorite is going to pop out of? Because with the favorites not being automatic at all, like not even close.
Yeah, no.
There are other groups where the favorite is way clearer, head and shoulders better than this group here, especially when taking into account recent form. I'm just talking about recent form.
Yeah.
Recent form, it's very close.
So no, I mean, I can't. I'll say this: I'm very confident that Cantlay wins this group. I am.
You're very confident,
but there's also this. We've chosen like so many Bulldogs already to come out of these groups.
Okay, all right. I'm going to give you the Patrick Cantlay, but you better you got to repay. You might have to repay the favorite.
Okay, I'm glad you're giving me Cantlay.
And also, apparently, other people do think Cantlay looks like a killer. All right, so who do we got now? We have where are we? Group 13. So the Cantlay group is playing the winner of Group 13, which is Tyrrell Hatton, Christian Bezadenhout, Daniel Berger, and Si Woo Kim. This one is challenging to me too. This one's borderline stay away. I've not decided to stay away from it, but it's borderline. Tyrrell Hatton's record here, 6-6-2. He's at plus 225. Berger's record here, 3-9-0 at plus 210. Si Woo Kim's record here, 3-7-3 at plus 300. And Seabez 0-2-1 at plus 275. I think if I take my emotions out of it, Pat, I think it's a Tyrrell Hatton play.
I agree.
At plus 225.
I agree.
I
think plus 225. I think Hatton.
Berger's tough to me. Like I love Berger this whole year. He's playing really good. Playing really, really good. I feel like Hatton's gonna have the edge in terms of putting and dropping putt. I mean, just irritating. Like, can you imagine? I mean, I just had the Hatton rant last.
Yeah,
week.
I mean, there's long.
Can you imagine playing him in a round where he gains 2 strokes? basically on the field would be if there were strokes gained, like where he just makes all those putts on you. Can you imagine how annoying it would be looking at his face while he does that? Like that was
And
simply
then what are you gonna do when he's up? Like he's 5 up on you and he misses a putt, and he's like fuck. He's like cussing at the hole, and you're
yeah.
like you're damn 5 up on me, Hatton. But I agree. I think this is a tough group, and I think this is a stay away group for me. I have a hard time with picking this group too. Somebody in the chat talking about I'm turning on Seabez. I'm not really turning on Seabez.
No,
I just feel
light.
I just feel like Berger and Hatton are head and shoulders the best in this group. Siwoo Kim, if Siwoo Kim won this group, I don't know.
It's not going to surprise me though. I mean, it really doesn't surprise me. Like Siwoo is extremely aggressive. He is. Great. I don't understand why he's 3-7-3 in this format. I mean, maybe it's because the aggression and the form did not meet. But if aggression and form, ball striking form, converge with Siwoo, like he could run through this whole thing like crap through a goose. Like just be done with all of you and crush it because he's that aggressive of a player. He's going to make that many birdies on you, that many eagles. And
see, I think it's how you channel that aggression though. Like with match play, yes, you want to be aggressive, but if you get behind, like Siwoo's a guy that I think that he gets behind, and I could see like he presses too hard, he tilts. Yeah, something's going to go off, and then he's going to be done. And that's where that's when we talk about sort of the killer mentality with match play. It's not just like when you're ahead and you're hitting all your shots, but what do you like? What kind of player are you when you're down a little bit or you're feeling pressed? Are you kind of one of these guys that's sort of just going to be like, all right, whatever, I've lost this match and I'll move on to the next tournament? Or do you have just that really, like we said, that killer mentality, like a guy like Kiz, like a guy like Cantlay, those guys that just, there's so much fire burning in them that we see on this is why this tournament is so different than anything else, because it has to do with playing one-on-one with somebody. And then what happens during that match and how does that matter? There's so many variables that things go wrong. And how do you play like when you're playing one-on-one? Are you going to back down when you're getting your ass kicked? Or are you going to fight and try to, keep clawing your way back and realize that even if you are 3 down, there's a way to get back. You got 7 holes left. There's a way to get back. So there's a lot of different, factors, I think, with these guys that can win these matchups. So it all goes back to the fact that I think Hatton has that mentality. I think he does. So
I like David Speaks' comment. I want to see Hatton and Siwoo have a club breaking contest. Yeah. That would be to see them get into it on the golf course and get into a screaming match would be the greatest. I also think Brian hit it on the head here. Siwoo's still on cloud 9 from meeting DB.
Yeah, he is.
He's still. Yeah, I get it, man. I get it, Siwoo. I totally get it. All right, let's keep moving right along here. So we're gonna go Terrell Hatton there in Group 13, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll put him in here.
All right, the next where are we? The next one we got that one. All right, groups 5 and 12. Scotty Sheffler.
Oh, this is
Matt Fitzpatrick, Tommy Fleetwood. Tommy Fleetwood been showing a little form here lately. Last couple weeks, the Players Championship, Valspar showing a little form. My boy Matt Fitzpatrick pulls through for me last week. Handily handles Abraham Answer, who misses the cut. You're going to be doing another TikTok dance. Matt Fitzpatrick, another top 10, I think, killing it. Poulter is your match play guy that everybody loves, everybody thinks is amazing. And then Scotty Sheffler, who, like I said, finished runner-up to Billy Horschel last week. Scheffler last year, his record here 4-1-2. He's at plus 200. Matt Fitzpatrick 6-9-0 at plus 250. Fleetwood 7-5-2 at plus 275, and Poulter 9-3-0 at plus 300. It's the 3 Euros all looking to knock off the American young gun that put it to him at the Ryder Cup not too long ago, and who's really probably one of the hottest players in the world right now. So what are you doing here, buddy? What are we doing?
Okay, so I mentioned when we started the show that I had two groups that I had no idea what I wanted to do. This is one of them. Okay. I really don't know what I want to do here, and this is one I kind of want to talk through a little bit. Obviously, Sheffler has been playing incredibly well.
Yeah.
The guy's been a stud, and he made it to the finals here last year. He almost won. I had him on the betting card, I believe, to win. One of us did, either you or me. I can't remember. And then you got go ahead.
No, you finish it.
And then you got Fitzy, who, yeah, I wasn't big on last week, but I think he showed a lot last week on a course where you got to be pretty precise, off the tee and then into these greens or into the greens last week, and he did well. So, and then Fleetwood has been playing a little better lately. He's got match play experience, and then you got Poulter, who is just like I think he's obviously on the tail end of his career. But he's closer to being a Ryder Cup captain than he is playing in another Ryder Cup as a player, because I don't think he's going to do that again. But so this is a group that to me means that if I'm this, conflicted with this group, that I'm probably going to stay away from betting the outright winner of this group. But I do think it's an interesting one.
Well, I think Sheffler, dude. I think we're overthinking it a little bit. Fitzpatrick, I love, and I've been all over him this whole. I mean, obviously, I love Fitzpatrick. I think Scotty is just the alpha in the room in this group, and he's gonna do it for America against these 3 Euro Ryder Cuppers, and he's in Texas. He's got the Texas connection. Obviously playing well. I just think we go with Scotty Sheffler here at plus 200.
Yeah, Yeah, you're probably right. I'm overthinking it a little bit, but I could just see a few of these guys in here. There's a lot of reasons you could take some of the other ones, but I don't think outside of Scheffler, I'm not sure I see any of those 3 guys actually winning. So I don't know if I would even bet them outright. So why bet them to win the group?
Yeah, that's true. So those guys are going to be playing. God, I keep clicking on the wrong thing. They're going to be playing the winner of Group 12, which is Billy Horschel, Min Woo Lee, Thomas Pieters, and Tom Hoge. Billy Ho, your defending champ, 8-4-1 at Austin at plus 175. Thomas Pieters and Tom Hoge both at plus 250. Pieters is 2-4-3 here. Min Woo Lee is plus 400. Hoge and Min Woo Lee, it is their first appearance here at Austin. This one is, to me, I mean, this is between Tom Hoge and Billy Horschel, and I think it's a spot to grab Hoge.
Really?
Yeah. I like the ball striking. I like the nothing to lose. Billy Ho, defending champ.
I almost feel like they gifted Billy Horschel with a pretty good bracket here as the defending champ.
It is a pretty good. I think it's a pretty good bracket, but I think Tom Hoge can give you the upset here. I mean, look at what old Hoge has done.
He really has been so good.
33rd at the Players, 32nd at API, 14th at Phoenix, coming off the win at Pebble, runner up at the Amex. I mean, like the guy's been playing great, and the off the tee and approach play has been tremendous. I mean, obviously Billy Ho is going to have the experience factor here at Austin, working with him, working in his favor. But I think if we're looking for a few spots to take an upset, I think this is one of my favorite ones. I think Hoagie's going to be. I do think he's going to be chalky in DFS. We'll talk about that. He's pretty cheap. You can get him really cheap in DFS. But I don't know. I like him at plus 250. Now, other than him, it's definitely Billy Ho. Like I don't. Yeah. I'm not playing Min Woo Lee. I'm not playing Thomas Pieters here. So if you just are pretty adamant on Billy Ho, which I doubt you are,
I am not. We can take Hoagie right now and move on if you want to.
Let's roll with Hoagie at plus 250. I like it. I think Hollywood Hoagie's got him a chance there. Okay, so that was groups 5 and 12. Now we're going to move on to groups 6 and 11. These two groups are murderers roast.
This is it. This is the
both of these groups are stay away bets for me. I'm not betting either one of these to come out, but we're going to have to pick one. The first one is led by Justin Thomas, super informed Justin Thomas, which is scary. Plus 165. He is 9-9-1 at Austin. Mark Leishman is the next. I thought that was interesting. Leishman is the favorite after him at plus 240. He's got a 6-7-3 record here. Kiz at plus 260, 16-6-1. And then the first timer, Luke List, is at plus 400 here for these boys. I was a little surprised that Leishman had a slightly shorter number than Kiz there, given Kiz's record here, not just winning, but also making it to the final group in he won in 2019. He lost in the championship match in 2018, and he's 16-6-1, but Leishman was a shorter number. I was a little surprised by that. But it's super hard to argue with JT right now, considering how good his iron play, his ball striking has been. I was watching the tournament yesterday, tweeting and saying, like, man, this is like a really informed ball striking Justin Thomas that is looking extremely deadly at Augusta. And he's the putter to heat up a little bit, but I don't know. Like, I know our boy Kiz in here is the bulldog and is the match play guy, and him and JT play together all the time. They play practice rounds together all the time. And I'm sure
I can't. That's to me their matchup when they play in the third matchup is going to be must-see TV. I think they're going to have a great match. I think it's going to be pretty interesting to watch them play against each other. I love this group from an entertainment value.
Yeah, a lot of entertainment value here.
Yeah, and I think, it's hard to sit here and say that JT is not the one that you want to play out of this group. I don't want to bet him to win the group. I love Kisner in this format. I just think he lives for this kind of stuff. So it's also hard to. So it really is sort of a stay away group for me. But I have to say, I'm probably going to go with you there on JT.
Okay.
I hate taking a Bama guy over a Georgia guy, but it's just the smart play, and I think you're right. I mean, what he is showing heading into the Masters is a lot. So I'm with you there. The next group is interesting too, but
I got to give a shout out to Stephen McKillen in the chat. I didn't hit the like button, but I invited 30 of these people who are watching. So that's good, Stephen. That's very good. I mean, hit the like button, because that's also not hard at all to do on YouTube. You just, it literally takes a quarter of a second. But
I know how to do that.
Inviting people is amazing. That's amazing. We need a lot more people to do that. That's great. Tell your friends about it. All right. Get them on here. Copy the link and send it to them. All right. So we're going to.
You think that's the group of death, by the way? In soccer, they have the group of death in the World Cup. I think that's the group of death.
It's tough. I think there's one that's actually harder that we haven't gotten to it yet. All right. So those guys are going to be playing Jordan Spieth, Keegan Bradley, Adam Scott, and Justin Rose out of Group 11. Jordan Spieth, your favorite at plus 210, a 9-5-3 record here. Adam Scott at plus 230, a 1-1-1 record. Justin Rose plus 270, 3-2-2, and Keegan Bradley plus 300, 0-1-2. Texas boy, home-ish sort of game for Jordan Spieth. I know that Ben Little loves hearing me say that. Keegan's obviously in a lot of great form. Scott's shown some form as well this year. Both Scott and Spieth missed the cut at the Players. Horrible sides of things for Scott, and then hitting 2 balls off the tee in the water on 18 doesn't help. Rose has flashed a little bit of form this year. What are you leaning towards here, Pat?
Spieth is going to win this group, and he's going to play against JT, and
that's my bet.
That's going to be
agreement there.
An amazing matchup. I really hope we get that matchup.
That is going to be fun. He's at plus 210. I think it is Spieth. It's not going to shock me if it's not, though. Like, it's not. But from a betting, I mean, the numbers are kind of close. Like, he's not like a JT at a plus 165 number. He's a plus 210. It's not like, so you're getting extreme value on somebody that's like so enticing. But I do think the play is just to go ahead and roll with Jordan here. More match play experience than anybody, probably outside of Justin Rose. I guess Rose has probably played in more Ryder Cups potentially than Spieth, but I don't know. Spieth's because he got the President's Cup too.
Yeah,
so maybe more Ryder Cup, more match play experience than any of these guys. Yeah, I think it's Jordan. We can move on from that one quickly. So that's group 6 and 11. Or four more groups here. Match play group 7 versus number 10. To me, this is the easiest group to pick and the hardest group to pick.
I think you're right.
Group 7 to me is Xander Schauffele, and it's just not even close, which probably means freaking, Lucas Earbert's going to win the freaking thing.
Yeah.
But Xander Schauffele is your favorite at plus 175. He's 4-2-3 here. Finau is at plus 250, 4-4-1. Lucas Herbert is plus 300. Takumi Kanai is plus 300. Both first timers here. It's Xander at plus 175, and we can move on.
Yeah. I don't have anything else to add to that. I think it's such an easy group for him to win.
Not going to be.
He got lucky by getting Finau as the number 2 seed in this group.
Yeah. Then the hardest group to me. This to me is the tough one. I mean, if you look at all four of these guys showing tremendous form. I mean, Louis and Noren have been killing it. Casey just popping up at the Players, playing well. Connors looks like he's back. I think this group is very challenging to figure out. Louis the favorite at plus 200. He's 13-9-0 here. Casey's at plus 225. He's 8-6-3 here. Noren is 11-3-0.
11-3-0
at plus 275, and Connors is 0-3-0 at plus 300. I mean, you're talking about 3 guys in that group with a ton of rounds here at Austin, and all 3 with winning records. And then Corey Connors at 0-3-0, but also he's Corey Connors. He's hitting it well. He could do something. I mean, I do think he is the bottom man here for sure. I think I would slightly lean the value on Noren at plus 275, given the match play record, given the form, and a little bit of value. But this is for sure a stay away group for me, and I could be talked into any player in here.
See, I think Noren is the guy here. I really do.
Right. All right.
I think you roll with Noren. You play him at what'd you say his
plus 275?
Plus 275. I like the record here when you look at that 11-3-0. I think another angle for Noren is also he's one of the guys. I talked about folks that were on the edge for the Masters. He is currently 56th in the world. He is not in the Masters yet. So if he gets in the top 50 within the next couple weeks, he will get in the tournament at the Masters. I think there's a lot of extra motivation for Noren to do well this week, and he's been playing well. I mean, he's got 2 top 10s in his last 4 events. Was 26th at the Players. I think Noren is the play here, and I feel like he's probably going to upset Xander in the next round too. So I think if that gives you a little hint into some outright plays,
okay.
But so I like Noren here.
All right, last 2 groups. We've got groups 8 and 9, and I think these are somewhat easier groups as well for me. Group 8 is Dustin Johnson. He's your favorite at plus 165. Plus 175 on FanDuel. He's 12-8-1 here. Max Homa is plus 230. He's 2-1-0. Mackenzie Hughes is 2-1-1 at plus 300, and Matt Wolff is plus 400, 1-1-1, and he's just lost. So to me, this is DJ, and it's not even close. I get that people love Max Homa. I love Max Homa, but DJ and it's not even close. And DJ, hasn't really put 4 rounds together in stroke play events here recently, but he's definitely shown some really hot rounds and ability to go low. And this is not stroke play. So I think this one is almost as easy as Xander's group. I do think Max Homa presents a little more of a challenge than anybody in Xander's group, but I think this is DJ hands down.
I don't know if it's hands down DJ. I really like Homa. And I think, but I'm going to give you DJ here.
You owe me DJ for the can't lay.
I'll give you DJ here for the can't lay, but I do think Homa is very interesting. So,
okay. And then they're going to face group 9, which is Bryson returning from his injury / getting out of his Saudi contract. Richard Bland, Taylor Gooch, and Lee Westwood. Bryson plus 220 is your favorite at 2-4-0. Gooch at plus 225. This is his first time here. Lee Westwood at plus 240, 5, 6, and 1, and Richard Bland plus 350 is his first time here. You can see how close the odds makers see this one, given your favorite is plus 220. The next guy is plus 225, then plus 240, and then Richard Bland. So to me, I think this is Gooch.
It's absolutely Gooch.
Gooch. Yeah.
He's going to start with Westwood and Bland in his first 2 matches, and then he gets Bryson in the 3rd match. We haven't seen Bryson. He's been injured. We don't know much about him. Hell, we don't even know if he might back out and somebody else gets in this group. I think this is easily Gooch that wins this group.
Nice. All right, total agreement there. Love it. Okay. Let's do this. Before we do our let's go to our covers bets here, Pat. So it's time we're gonna talk through some outrights here. But it's our favorite outright bets that we like so far. And this may just be numbers that we think you should get on now. We think it could get shorter. Values that we see on the board in terms of outrights, and as well as some group bets and values that we like for the WGC Dell Match play, presented to you by Covers. Winning starts at covers.com. Full betting cards will be coming out probably tomorrow night, Tuesday night. Pat will tweet out his. Mine will be on the website, tourjunkies.com. But Pat, I'll go ahead and say if I'm looking in the shorter ranges here, to me, DJ and Xander, and again, you got to think through the brackets, right? You have to look at the bracket and not shoot yourself in the foot in terms of who you're taking outright. You need to be careful. You don't need to pick. I wouldn't pick DJ and Rahm to win because they're coming out of the same top left side of the bracket. But I like DJ and Xander. They're coming from opposite ends of the bracket. They could end up playing each other in the finals, and you just be sitting there loving it. DJ's at 20-1. Xander is at 24-1. I like Sergio Garcia at 46-1 on FanDuel. The old man has got a great record here. We talked about him. We talked about his play. He's coming out of the kind of top right corner with Morikawa and Xander as well. I like Gooch, Taylor Gooch, who we just talked about, coming out of his group. I think that's group 9, is it? Yeah, with Bryson's group. So I like Gooch at 60-1. I just think that's good value. And then Tom Hoagie at 100-1. I'm going to do Hoagie it's 100-1 on DraftKings. He's coming out of Billy Horschel's group, bottom left. If he can come out of that group, then he could probably going to face Scheffler or Matt Fitzpatrick, which is going to be tough to do. But Hoagie's just so chill. He's just so chill. He just won his first PGA Tour event a few weeks ago. 100-1's a good value. I'll take that one. My favorite group values, I'll give those real quick. Brian Harman in group 15 at plus 300. Hoagie in group 12 at plus 250. Gooch at plus 225 in group 9. And I think I think Xander and DJ both are locks at plus 175. Those are my favorite group values.
Okay. All right. Let me see if I can wrap this all up. I was trying to pay attention to a lot of that, but I'll say, so on the shorter end, I like Patrick Cantlay at 22-1. That's where I'm seeing him on DraftKings. I think that's maybe the best number on Patrick Cantlay. I think that is a great bet for him. I like Jordan Spieth too. He's also at 35-1 on DK. I think he can win this thing and might be a little bit of a sneaky outright to win this whole event. I think that's a pretty good number for him. If I'm looking a little bit longer, there's a few guys in here that I like. I like Alex Noren, and he is right around that 60-1 number. I think, that could be interesting for him. Now, he'll have to get through Xander in that first round. But if he does get through Xander, if he makes it around the 16, he gets past Xander, then he's probably going to get somebody like a Garcia, maybe a Brian Harman or something like that. I think he can get through there to the finals. So I like Alex Noren there at 60-1. And then if we're looking at, the longest odds guy that I have is probably Sepp Straka again at 90-1. I think he could be interesting, especially if he gets through on his group and then moves on. And then as far as group winners, my favorites are one, I have to say Jordan Spieth at plus 210. I almost said Jordan Spieth.
Jordan Spieth
at plus 210. I think that's a good number there. Also, I would say, God, there's so many here, DB, because you talked about so many guys. Did you mention Sergio at plus 240?
Yes.
I like that.
No, I didn't.
I like that one to come out of the group there. And then a couple others that I'll give you that I think are good plays. God, you already mentioned.
I mentioned Xander, DJ, Gooch, Hoagie, and Harmon.
All right, the other one I'll mention will be Henley at plus 220 and Hatton also at plus 225 in his group. So Henley is in group number 14. Hatton is in group number 13.
A lot of stuff going on.
A lot of things. It's all crazy because it's different formats and all that. So
awesome. That's our favorite early leans and group bets presented to you by covers.com. We appreciate covers.com. Check it out. Winning starts at covers.com. All right, Pat, before we wrap it up, we got some Prize Picks stuff to go over real quick, and it's Corrales. Prize Picks right now only has stuff up for Corrales, the Punta Cana event there in the Dominican Republic, but it's going to be a good time. And we are continuing to crush it on Prize Picks. We hope you are too. We're in the Nut Hut every single night, dishing out Prize Pick winners for every round. A season, they're handing out a bunch of winners. We got people making money all over the place with Prize Picks. Use promo code TJ to get a 100% deposit match up to $100 when you sign up for a brand new account. They're legal in like 26 states, so odds are you're in one. Promo code TJ. It's a killer app. I'm going to give you two, and I do think there's I'm a little bit hesitant to go ahead and lock these in right now, just because weather can be a major factor in the Dominican Republic at this event. It is a resort course. The fairways are wide, but weather is a beast here. So I just want to double check that my guys, I would like to see what tee times go off, weather, all that kind of stuff. But for now, I'm taking two unders on the score, and one is on Joel Dahmen under 70. It's a par 72, so I'm banking on him to shoot 3 under or better in round one. Joel's been hot. He's played here 3 times. He's got a win, I think, in 2 top 15s. He's your defending champ. He's confident coming into this. He's ready to defend his title. I know. I like that. So as long as the weather's okay and he's on the good end of it, I think under 70 is a good play. And then Kramer Hickok, who's flashed a little bit and who's popped a little bit. I think he popped round 1 at the Players, didn't he? Didn't he show up on the leaderboard round 1 at the Players?
Yeah, he did.
Under 70.5. So I'm just banking on Hickok to shoot 2 under or better on round 1, and that's it.
All right. Well, I am going to do the fantasy golf sommelier this week, and we're going to be talking about some of your round 1 plays on that. But I'll give you one pick, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of strategy that I'm looking at this week. So the one pick I'm going to make is the over under on holes this week is at number 12, and which is a par 5, and they always set it at 4.5. Now 12 actually plays fairly difficult for a par 5. Now they always tend to be the easier holes on the course when you're looking at a pro event, because these guys can typically slam the par 5s. But 12 last year in the first round played it an average of 4.924, so close to 5. Obviously 4.9 is very close to 5. So I'm probably going to hammer the overs a little bit on hole number 12. Graham McDowell, who he's not very long off the tee, in case you haven't seen Graham. And it's an over 600-yard par 5. I'm going to take the over on Graham McDowell at 4.5. I don't believe he's going to birdie it. The first day, by the way, is going to have a lot of wind. The gust is going to be, I think, up to 25 miles per hour. Day 1 is going to be tough. And here's what I'll give you. Here's the advice I'll give you. If you looked at day 1 last year, there were 18 rounds below 70, okay, out of all the players in the field. There were 54 rounds at below par, but between 70 and 72. There were 71 rounds at par, so just under that 72 number. So they're really, this course played very difficult last year. 12 under 1, which is what Joel Dahmen was. In a win like they're going to have in the first round, I think you really I'm going to lay back a little bit in prize picks for round 1, because I want to see how, I think that there's going to be a lot of variable factors, but I may end up taking the under on some of the scoring stats. So and right now there's not a whole lot of offerings, I'll be honest. There's only if you look at players, there's only 4 or 5 in each category. They don't have fairways hit right now. They don't have greens in regulation right now. So I do want to see kind of how that first round goes. And then I think we're going to get some better numbers come Friday and Saturday based on that weather.
Love it. Pat, you are the Prize Picks whisperer for now, for sure, as we've started our budding Prize Picks relationship. I'm pumped about it. We got to get ready and do the DFS show coming up here in just a few minutes. Thank you for listening. If you're listening on podcast, leave us a 5-star review. Thank you for watching on YouTube. Don't forget to comment what you want to see, early Masters content, what you like, or just comment something, okay? Thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's have a great week. Bend over your bookie for the WGC Dell Match play. See ya. Oh!